Leaky gut is a term that's been buzzing around health and nutrition spaces for years now, but it's also pretty controversial. On the one hand, many people swear that understanding and addressing leaky gut has transformed their health. On the other, some skeptics dismiss it as a buzzword instead of a legitimate medical condition. So let's dive into what leaky gut is, how to test for it, and most importantly, how to support and rebuild a healthy intestinal lining. Okay, so to start off, what is leaky gut and why is it controversial? The scientific term for leaky gut is increased intestinal permeability. Your gut lining is like a high security wall for your body. It's made up of epithelial cells linked together by tight junctions, which act like gates that control what gets absorbed into your bloodstream. Normally, these gates are very selective, allowing only nutrients through while keeping harmful substances like toxins or undigested food particles out. When the gut lining is damaged, those gates can get leaky, allowing things into the bloodstream that don't belong there. This can trigger inflammation and an immune response, which can be linked to issues like food sensitivities, fatigue, and autoimmune conditions. But here's also where the controversy comes in. While increased intestinal permeability is a well-documented phenomenon, especially in conditions like celiac disease, leaky gut syndrome, as a broader explanation for many health issues, is not officially recognized as a standalone diagnosis. That means critics argue that even though intestinal permeability exists as a consequence of other health issues, it is not a distinct medical condition. As so often in life, I personally believe the truth lies somewhere in the middle. It is true that many holistic practitioners overdiagnose people with leaky gut and then use it to explain all kinds of symptoms. But it is also true that there's a huge research deficit when it comes to gut health. For example, concepts like the gut-brain axis were at some point also seen as pseudoscience, but are now widely accepted. Basically, the more we learn about the gut, the more we realize how complex it is and how big its impact on our health is. Great, with that said, what tests exist to diagnose leaky gut? Theoretically, there are quite a few ways to test for it. Keep in mind that these tests are not universally accepted as definitive, and I will also give you my personal opinion on them later. First is the lactulose mannitol test. This is the most common test for intestinal permeability. It measures how well your gut lining separates different types of sugar molecules. You drink a solution containing lactulose and mannitol, and then your urine is analyzed to see how much of each sugar passed through your gut lining. If more lactulose is detected, it suggests your gut might be more permeable than it should be. Next are zonulin tests. Zonulin is a protein that regulates the tight junctions in your gut lining. Elevated zonulin levels in your blood or your stool can indicate increased intestinal permeability. But this test isn't foolproof because zonulin levels can also rise due to infections or other conditions that are unrelated to leaky gut. Third, you have food sensitivity tests. Some practitioners use these to identify foods that might be crossing the gut barrier and then trigger an immune response. This is not a direct test for leaky gut, but it can provide clues to how sensitive your digestive system is to certain foods and that your gut might be more inflamed than it should be. And fourth, you have stool tests. Advanced stool analysis can look for markers of inflammation, the presence of beneficial and harmful bacteria, and other signs that might point to gut issues. Again, this is not a direct test for leaky gut, but it can also help as a first indicator. Now, all of these tests have some validity, but please don't go out and get all of them or even most of them, because to be honest, a leaky gut diagnosis isn't really that helpful. All the symptoms associated with it can also be caused by other problems with your GI tract, and nowadays most people's digestion isn't great. So I suggest you focus on optimizing your overall digestive system and overall gut health before obsessing over the diagnosis of leaky gut. I've never seen someone who only had leaky gut and nothing else. Usually it's a byproduct of an unhealthy digestive system and in turn a byproduct of a diet and lifestyle that don't give your body what it needs. With that being said, if you know your intestinal lining needs support and you need to strengthen its natural barrier function, there are specific nutrients that can help here. The most important is glutamine. This amino acid is one of the most important building blocks for repairing the gut lining. The cells of your intestinal wall use glutamine as their primary fuel source. It helps restore tight junctions and reduces inflammation. Glutamine is a fairly common amino acid in most protein foods, and it's also not an essential amino acid. So many people will tell you that you don't need to supplement it. But in times of stress or inflammation, the body does require a lot more, and I definitely believe glutamine supplements can be helpful here. Next is zinc. Zinc is critical for maintaining the structure and function of the gut lining. Studies suggest that zinc supplementation can reduce intestinal permeability, especially in cases of diarrhea or malnutrition. Zinc works together with vitamin A to support the immune cells in your gut, and it helps regulate the repair process of the intestinal lining. And third, we have collagen and gelatin. Collagen is rich in amino acids like glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, which are fundamental building blocks of the connective tissue in your body, including your gut lining. The epithelial cells in your intestine rely on these amino acids to maintain and repair the tight junctions that hold the gut barrier together. Again, glutamine is the most important one, but the amino acids found in collagen are also very important. Gelatin, which is derived from collagen through cooking, offers similar benefits. It delivers these amino acids in a form that is easy for the body to absorb and use for repair. Then you also have supportive nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and vitamin D. All of them can help reduce gut inflammation, and they do support the gut lining indirectly. Same with probiotics, so beneficial bacteria, and prebiotics, so the fiber that feeds them. These are essential for maintaining a balanced gut microbiome, which also supports the gut lining. As you can see, understanding and addressing leaky gut can feel overwhelming at first, but if you look at its essence, it's really about improving your overall gut health and digestive process. Doing this requires more than just supplementing the nutrients I just talked about, but also don't obsess over a possible leaky gut diagnosis too much. In most cases, it's simply the result of an imbalanced biochemistry that should be looked at from a big picture perspective. Once you strengthen your whole body and your whole nutrition, it often fixes itself.